What's up everybody, welcome back to channel CodeX. I'm your host Afzal, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to create this onboarding screen inside Flutter within 30 minutes. Yes, in this video I have taken a challenge for myself, like I want to create something really fast, really important for you, and what else will be better than starting something with onboarding, right? So let's see whether I'm able to do that in 30 seconds or not, and if I can do, that's well and good. If not, at least you will learn something out of this video. So we'll be using a lot of shortcuts to create things, and you'll be learning all those stuff. So make sure to watch full video, and we're gonna start right after this intro. All right, so we have 30 minutes in our hand and we don't want to miss a single second. So let's go ahead and fire up Visual Studio Code, and I'll create a new project for Flutter. Okay, let me save it somewhere inside YT folder where it went. Yes, this is for YouTube, and I'm going to name the project as onboarding demo. Yeah, that sounds like what we are creating, onboarding demo application. All right, so meanwhile our projects get created, let me fire up a simulator. So everything is up and running, we are good to go. And let's also fire up Adobe Xd where our design resides. So basically we'll be creating this design, like we have this vertical image, like image. After that there's a text for title, there's a text for description, and I'll be doing a little bit modification, like I want this text to be in center, which makes more sense to me. And we'll be creating this design inside Flutter. Okay, so our project is up and running, and let me see the timer as well. Just a second, I forgot to start the timer, but I think we are still in good shape, like we didn't started anything, everything is just initialized. So I'm going to start the timer right now. All right, so we have 29 minutes and 54 seconds left. Okay, that's a real advantage. Fine, so first thing first, I'm going to do some cleanup job. I'm going to find out all the comments with this regex and replace with empty character. So I don't want to work with those comments. And because we are going to do this project in GetX, which follows MVC pattern, so I'm going to create models, then back to library, views, come on, okay, and then we'll create controllers. So this will be the basic structure of our application, MVC pattern. I hope you people will like it. And inside views we are going to create our first page, which is onboarding page.start. all right, so this is the page where most of the time we'll spend, and I'm going to import material so that we can work with widgets, and I'll write STL, which is the shortcut for stateless widget, okay, and name it onboarding page. Simple, right? And instead of container I will say scaffold. Perfect. So this onboarding page I'm going to use from home. I don't want to call the my home page, and let's just resolve it. Perfect. And then I'm going to delete this my detail page. Perfect, everything is right, and I'm going to give it a run. I hope it doesn't take much time because we are limited on time this time. What a rhyme. All right, so just a nonsense of talking meanwhile the application is running, and we have this sort of structure. Because a lot of people ask me what is structure, what is the folder structure you're following. So this is what I follow generally. I create folders for each separate thing. For model, views, and controller, it's but obvious. For themes, for utils, for general purpose, all those stuff, I create folders and keep it separate. All right, so our application is up and running, and I also want my phone to be up and running so that I can see the timer in between. All right, so it's 27 minutes 16 seconds. So let's go to scaffold and provide some body. So what we want as our final design, if you see at the Xd design, is this scrolling item. So inside your onboarding screen you want to scroll the items and finally land to the page where it says start your application, right? So first thing we want is the page view. Okay, so with help of page view we can provide this scrolling effect. All right, so I'm going to choose pageview.builder because I don't want to create each and every page again and again because they are all looking same thing. So I'll use the item builder, and generally builders take context and index. All right, this is perfect, and I'm going to return an empty container as of now. So all good, we have the page view builder, but we have nothing to show. So we have to finalize what data we are going to show, and to form the data we'll use a model, and this time I'm going to call it onboarding info. So basically this model will hold information of the page, like each page what data we have. So I will say class onboarding info, and what information we need basically is one image name. So I will say image asset, then we need title, and finally we need description, right? And you can just create a constructor with this all fields. Okay, here we have it. So we got our model ready with us. Now we need to create the data, and where we will create the data, that's a good question. So I will, as of now, I will create inside a controller. So I'm going to create a new controller right now. I'll call onboarding controller.dart. Perfect. And let's call onboarding controller, and this will have a list of onboarding info. I hope it all makes sense that first we created the model which will hold the page information, and now we are creating a controller which will have all the pages which we are going to work inside our view. So let's call it onboarding pages, and it will be a list. Perfect. So far so good. We have a good start. We have only spent 5 minutes. 24 minutes is still left with us. 24 minutes 30 seconds. So we have item to work with. What I'm going to do is go to onboarding page and refer this onboarding pages from here. So let's create an instance of final controller. I know that you guys are thinking that I'm not working with GetX controller, it's a normal controller. Just wait a second, I'll tell you when we need that. So I'm going to say controller is equal to onboarding controller, right? This is what we want. And now we can specify what is our list of item inside this page view. So I can say controller.onboardingpages.length. So now it will refer to those items residing inside the controller. All right, easy peasy. So now we are in situation where we have to define how each item inside page view looks like. Okay, so I will start with a column. Let's have a look at the designed ones. So it's clearly visible that there's a column, there's an image, there's a text and another text, and on top of that there are some elements in the bottom. All right, so let's minimize it as of now. So I'm going to say what column. All right, and inside that I'll provide the children's. First thing will be image from asset, of course, and where this image will be coming from, it will be from the list of onboarding paths, and we'll select the item at current index. So whatever page is being displayed, we'll select that. So let me just copy this thing. Okay, this is the list of items. So at current index, whatever page is being displayed, we'll ask what is the image asset for your page. All right, it's very simple thing. And then similarly we'll apply it for title, and let me just copy it right from here, title, and for description as well, just to save our time. Now we have all this information, but still our item count is 0 because we don't have any element inside our onboarding pages, right? So nothing will show up. Now it's time to add some element here. So I'm going to create real quick onboarding info, the image asset. We have to provide the name of image, then the title, then the description. So let's go ahead and add images real quick. What you have to do is go to the root folder, click somewhere here and create assets just to manage our assets properly. And I'm going to add onboarding images, which I already generated from this Adobe Xd design. If you can see over here, I have all the images with me. So I'm going to bring this 3 image inside my assets folder. So remember, as soon as you bring assets or add any asset to your project, initially, like first one time, you have to do the setup. You have to tell the pub spec where your images reside. And the easiest way is you scroll down till you find this asset command. Just uncomment these 3 lines. So now Flutter knows where your asset resides, and of course it's not there in the images folder. So what we have to do is delete everything, and we are not going to specify each and every image separately. We'll just say that our assets reside in this asset folder. So this asset over here is the name of your folder. You can keep it whatever you want. Okay, these are some basic things, but because it's a basic tutorial, I want to cover basic point as well. And let me check the timer. We have 10 minutes, like 10 minutes passed. We have 20 minutes left with us, so we have to be a little bit fast. All right. So first onboarding page will have asset called order, right? This is our asset. Let me show you order.png. The title, of course, I'm going to copy from here. Come on, be fast, be kind on me. Okay, and the description is this guy. Oh, there's a new line character. I hope everything is fine. Perfect. Now first element got added, and you can see that as soon as we added the first element, the item also got updated over here, right? But we cannot scroll because there's only one element there. So let's go ahead and add another elements, second and third element. Oh, what's wrong here? Okay, and this time the image will be for the second page cook, and for the third page it will be deliver, right? And now hopefully you can scroll through it. Good progress, right? And the title and description remains same, so we have to change that real quick. Let me go to Adobe Xd and copy this title. So many clicks. Okay, and then we'll copy the description. Come on, again we have space over there in the design, so I have to be a little fast. I don't want to lose in my first target. Even if I lose, nothing is going to happen, but yes, I want to achieve that target. Done. We have all the 3 pages in front of us. Perfect. So it's time to give some style. It's time to stylize the page. Stammer in between sometimes. Never mind it. So let's go ahead in the onboarding page. Okay, image is fine, and first thing first, what I'll do is I'll provide the alignment. So I want everything nice centered, which is here. Okay, and then in between I want some spacing, so let's go ahead and give some size box. You can use padding for that, but somehow I like to give a size box in between. Personal preferences, both works fine. Okay, now it's looking fine, and now it's time to stylize our text. Yes, our text widget. So let me give a font size of 24. Let's see how it looks. It's fine. So same style, I'll copy and paste to description as well. Here we can keep it something small, say for example 18. Yeah, that looks fine. And also let's make it bold. So we can make a font bold or light by providing font weight, and I can say weight of 500, which makes the font bolder. And also you can see that the description text is like taking the full width, and I don't want that. I'm going to provide some padding, and not in all direction. I want in only symmetrically, horizontally, so many leaves, symmetric padding in horizontal. Come on, it's not giving me suggestion. Okay, better, or I can say 64. Yeah, much better. And one more thing I think we should provide is alignment. So text aligned, I want this looks perfect. So we have the onboarding screen partially ready. Like we can swipe through the pages, we can see the different title details and everything, and we still have 15 minutes and 55 seconds, so almost 16 minutes left with us. And this is the time to add these little details like this indicator over here, which you can see, which will tell which page you are on. Okay, so let's go ahead and utilize GetX now to manage the state, like we are on which page and how to update that circular thing, stuff like that. Okay, so inside body, the first thing which we have, like the only thing which we have is this page which is swiping. So on top of that, we want to add these three dots. All right, so I'm going to wrap the page view inside a stack, and we don't have that option directly, so I'm going to wrap it with row so that we get this structure of children, and then I'm going to rename it with the stack. So if you have seen my basic videos, you must be aware of these shortcuts, these tricks, and if you haven't, you did a big mistake. Just kidding. This shortcut is for you guys as a basic tutorial. Okay, so inside the stack we have the first element, which is our page view, which will be behind, and on top of that I want to add these three little dots. And if you see closely, like these are some small circles in the horizontal direction, so I'm going to create a row for that. So let's go ahead and add row widget. And children, of course, I'm not going to create three dots manually. This time I will use list.generate. Now what it will do, you can provide the length of item or length, whatever you want to generate, and it will generate each item based on that. I messed up here, but anyways, so we have to provide how many items we want basically, and we already have that. We provided that in page view. So I'm going to say onboarding pages dot length, this many items we want, which is 3 as of now. And for each item, don't return null, return something meaningful. Okay, container. Okay, now it's happy. And now for the container, I'm going to give some random width and height. Say for example 12, height of 12. Let's provide some decoration. Color, I want colors dot red. Okay, just to see it's working or not. And you can see on top here something got added. I'm quite sure you didn't notice, but I know because I have tried this before. So what we can do is we can wrap everything inside this body thing inside a safe area so that it doesn't go inside the notch part. Okay, if you're working on Android, you will not notice it, but because Flutter works on both Android and iOS, so you have to be careful about that. Okay, so you got these 3 items over here, and I think we have to be a little fast because only 13 minutes left. All right, so we can see this thing, and let's give some margins so that we can see some spacing. I think 4 will be fine. Okay, and let's also make this rounded. Perfect. So we got 3 dots, but it placed on the top because of this 0 0 coordinates, it starts on the top. So we have to position that manually in the bottom. And how we can do that, inside a stack you can use this widget called positioned, and here you can position it like whatever X and Y coordinate you can provide, and it will position like that based on the left and right and top and bottom. So I want from bottom, it should be 20 pixel away from the bottom. So it will immediately come down, and from left hand side I want again 20 pixel. So this is coming on the right place, which is fine, but still we don't know like which page is selected, so all are red. So basically what we have to do is we have to find if the selected page is at the current index, then we have to make it red, otherwise it should be gray, something like that. So what we can do, we can go to our controller and implement that functionality, and now comes the GetX in picture, which for which you all guys are waiting. All right, so let's go ahead and add GetX package. And what you have to do is go to the dependency, don't go inside dev dependency, you have to use this one and say get, and you can be specific, you can go to pub.dev and specify the exact version, but I'm going to say any version is fine with me. All right, so it will load the package meanwhile, and let's import some classes which we are going to use. So I'll be saying get state manager, right? And then we'll extend our controller with GetX controller. So this is how basically this is one of the example where you can see that without using any package, how I was managing my code with MVC pattern. And even if you add GetX controller, you can still use the same pattern. So that is a coding practice or like organization thing, you can say. Let me check the time. We have 10 minutes. Of course, we can do something good in that. So let's create a variable and I'll call it selected page index. So here we will have the information which page is selected. So by default it will be 0, and this is the important part, I'll make it observable. OBS means observable. So anytime the data changes, it will notify to our visual. So our views will get updated depending on the data change, right? So I'm saying selected page index 0, and now we have to do a very simple thing inside our view. I can just close this model, it's not required anymore. Okay, simple thing is controller dot selected page index is equal to the current index of this guy, like the current index of this element. Okay, if it matches, then use red color, otherwise use gray color or any other color which you want. Some suggestion here. Okay, because it's RxInt, so we have to use a value property here. All right, makes sense. So now you can see the 0th page is selected, that's why the 0 is highlighted, rest 2 are gray. If I move that, nothing happens. The reason, because when we move the page, we don't really update the selected index. So we have to do that mechanism to update the index count as well, and we can do that very easily. What you have to do is go to your page view builder, and there we get one event which says on page change. Okay, and that gives you the index in return. So whenever the page changes, it will inform you at what index currently the page viewer is on. Okay, so here's the cool thing, that you don't have to write entire method to update the selected index and all those things. You can directly provide that selected index. Let me show you how. Okay, it's that simple, because our selected page index is of type RxInt. Okay, because we created with the 0, so it takes RxInt, and that itself is a method. So wherever you are having a function which returns you the integer, you can directly link your RxInt there. So you don't need to implement onInt and inside that call that method, nothing like that. So it will directly update selected page index. Okay, we have still 7.5 minutes. So now we are updating the value as well. Let's see if we get something to see. Still not there. The reason, now we are updating the value, but now what is happening is we are not looking for the change. So we have to inform our user interface, like we have to inform our widget that look for the change in this particular area. So like entire widget tree, we don't have to refresh, we have to refresh only the part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this container is going to update. So I'll wrap with OBX, and I'm not getting that option to wrap. Okay, let me do it a dirty way. So basically what you're gonna want to do is wrap with OBX this way. There's an extension which unfortunately not working for me. Okay, now basically I have wrapped this container inside OBX, and this doesn't take any parameter. It's very straightforward. And now let's give it a try. You can see that the index the dot has changed to page 2. And if I move like this, it has changed to page 3. Awesome, right? So we got this feature also done within our time. So now we are moving to the final thing, which is the button. Like we want to implement a button inside our page, which will basically move the slider to the next page. So user will be able to handle that. Okay. So still we have 6 minutes left with us. So let's see what we can do in that. Okay, I'm going to create another position widget. So it's like continuously 30 minutes I'm talking, and like I can feel I'm breathing very highly. All right, so we have another position element, and this time it will be right position, 20 pixel away from the right side, and from bottom 20 pixel again, and the children will be floating action button. Okay, so we got our button here. I don't want that shadow, so I'll say elevation of 0. It's fine. And the child of course will be the text property, and it will say next. As simple as that. Okay, but nothing happens when you click on next, so we need some functionality over here. So what I'm going to do is add this on pressed event, and what happens on press, that we will write inside our controller. So on next we have to slide the page manually, right? Like using the code we have to slide the page. So what I'm gonna do is create a controller for our page view. So you can create controller here, but I recommend you do it inside your controller so that your controllers and views are separated. So I'm going to create var page controller, and this is for our page view, not for entire page, but that sliding page. Okay, and this will be of type page controller. This is inbuilt inside Flutter, so you don't have to create this, you don't have to worry about that. This is inbuilt controller of the page, that slider thing. All right, so we just have to hook it up with the page view. So I will say on top, I can say here controller of this page view is controller dot page controller. Okay, so you guys should not be confused with this controller. So I'm going to I'm going to rename the symbol and say underscore controller. So our page level controller is this one. Okay, so the page view controller is this controller dot page controller. I know a lot of controllers you are hearing, but it's very simple, trust me. Now what we have to do is on click of this button, we have to somehow change this controller. Like we have to tell this controller that move next. So I'm going to create a small little method over here, forward action, whatever name you can give, which doesn't accept anything. And what it will do, it will say page controller dot next page, right? And duration I can give 300 millisecond. Okay, let's import the utility also from GetX package. So GetX utils. Okay, now I can simply say 300 milliseconds. You don't have to write duration and all those stuff. And curve, I need curves dot ease. Makes sense, right? Now we just have to link this method from the button right from here. And as our method doesn't accept anything and this on press doesn't emit anything, so we can directly link controller dot where it went, forward action. Perfect. So let's give it a restart and see what we have so far. We still have 2 minutes left with us. next, it's going next, and it's changing the indicator as well. Again, I click next, it's going to the last page, it's changing the indicator again. If I again click next, nothing happened, it just tried to push that page. So we can write that validation also in this 2 minutes. Okay, and what I'm gonna do for that is I'm going to create one property which will tell me whether it's a last page or not. So let's go ahead and create a boolean property is last page. Okay, and basically what it will do is it will keep checking whether the selected index is the last index of the page or not. So I'm going to say selected page index is equal to, of course we have to check the value, is equal to onboarding pages dot length -1. So whatever the length of the onboarding pages -1 will give you the last index of the page, and that we have to compare with the selected page index. So that will tell you whether it's the last page or not. And also we can, while doing the forward action, we can do a check over here. So I'll say is last page. If it's last page, do something else, do this thing. Okay, let's give it a bracket. All right, go to home page. Okay, if it's last page, go to home page, otherwise move next, right? We still have 16 seconds left with us. Let's give it a restart and see ourselves what we have achieved so far. So if I click next, we have the next page, and when you click next at the last time, nothing really happens. So we have successfully achieved our milestone, like our goal. Yes, now the application also ringing, so we have done our thing in the time limit. And one small thing got missed, which I'll do right away. This last button, it should not say next, it should say start when you are on the last page. Okay, so that is very easy. We'll make a check over here, controller dot is last page. If it's last page, then say start, otherwise say next. It's that simple. And we'll also make it observable. For somehow I don't get that thing, so I'll write it manually. Okay, I hope I'm not mistaken. Okay, perfect. So the function return type widget, but doesn't, I think I missed something. Yeah, I can say return here. Cool. Now I'm going to do a restart again to see that whether the start button comes or not. So we are in the first page. I'm going to swipe manually. The dot change, still it says next. And now I'm going to click on this button, next. It came to the last page and it says start. Perfect, right? So we have successfully achieved onboarding screen in like 30 minutes or so. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you people enjoyed. We created something in less time and it was useful for you guys. And if it was, make sure to hit the like button, write down your feedback in the comment section. And if you want to check out these 2 videos from Flutter topic, and you will of course like it. So make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Yep, it's over. See you in the next one.